Hello, Facebook Live. I am joined today with Mr. Ben Benita. Hello, Ben. How are you, sir?
Doing great, sir. It's good to be here.
All right, Ben. I know I've known you for quite a few years, and I know that you've coached and you've helped a lot of my friends to help in regards to the real estate sales and more
Yep,
than that about life in general. So tell us a
absolutely.
little about yourself.
Yeah, me in a nutshell. I've been in real estate, gosh, long time. Probably as long. I got started in 2003 flipping houses. I got wiped out in '05 when the market turned. Started getting into short sales around 2009, 2010. Ended up separating from my wife at the time. Yeah, was just miserable and depressed. Got into those motivational videos. I'd heard of Tony Robbins, like most of us. I never really watched. I always thought those guys were smoke and mirrors, and I was definitely never into it. But I started watching the videos. It just something clicked inside me with again, I guess that for me, that was my light bulb moment when I started watching those videos. I realized not only me, but I knew a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of agents that were chasing paychecks, and that's what I was doing, ignoring my relationships. I've always been in pretty good health, but I just found out that there's such a need for entrepreneurs. And again, I found busy real estate agents. We all get wrapped up in chasing our paychecks. So we tend to neglect our families and unfortunately our wives, our husbands, our kids. I joke when I do some coaching with agents, you finally have that $100,000 to $200,000 a year. You get out of the shower, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, who's that fat guy? You don't, you just neglect your health. And like I said, too, your relationships can fall apart. So I've developed some systems and things, some coaching I do now to help agents. I don't like being called a life coach or balance. I just think it's so cliche, but you kind of find happiness where you can still pursue the paycheck, but also, make sure you stay in shape and, keep those connections with the friends and family and everything while you're doing that. So, but I love that. It's really rewarding. I know you and I have gone for runs a couple times. I mean, there's something truly fulfilling when you're, making the money. You feel like you're in good shape or getting in better shape, and you also have good relationships, good connections with, your friends and family. It's just a sign of the holy grail that I guess everybody seems to be looking for.
I thought you were going to say there's something truly fulfilling about running 6 miles in the mud, and I wasn't going to agree with you. Just to be
But there is.
candid with you.
That's why I totally left that off. Yeah, well, we've gone like 2 or 3 times, and yeah, but it's always
Yeah,
like rain and mud every time. I'm like,
yeah. So, all right. So tell us. So you coach agents now. So tell us more about that.
yeah, so I help agents now. Again, I use the phrase "find balance." I don't like that, but when I talk to them, I initially, well, especially now is a good time to do it. We all made our New Year's resolutions, and I know you got a big office. If you were to get everybody in the office, ask them how many of them, are still following the resolutions, or how many of them had ended up just being literally it's a 1 week to do list. So people are kind of on track for a week, and then, well, I'm going to go ahead and have the beer, have the pizza. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not going to, do the phone calls and stuff, and people get off track. So I develop a process where I, again, work with agents and entrepreneurs as well to kind of identify the pains. I call it the 4 F's. It's, to be complete, I think you have to have good fitness, a good relationship with your friends and family, and then also your finances. My belief is that it should be in that order. Again, I think it's great to have a good connection to be making the money, but from what I found, if you feel overweight or you're not, in good shape, that stuff's going to be important. But the health's the big thing. There was a
I
good
think I missed an F.
no, no, you're getting there.
What was the fourth F?
No, it's only three F's: fitness, family,
Oh, okay. All right. I misunderstood you.
just
My
the
bad. Sorry. All
just
right. Good. I was
no.
afraid to ask. Really, be candid with you. All right. So tell us. So I'm a real estate agent,
Yep,
and I'm going to role play here for a second.
sure.
I'm fat. I'm lazy. I
Yeah,
just made $150,000 this past year. Maybe I'm not lazy because I did that.
high five.
Ah, thank you. So, what would be, how would you help me?
I would identify that the first thing. I'm a big it's something I kind of came up with. A lot of people think about having a why. I'm a big proponent of having a who. And without asking Dan, if you were to stop being fat and lazy, who would that benefit? If you were to get in shape, who benefits from you being in shape? First
Mm,
question I asked you, right? You,
okay.
what would you answer?
I would say myself and my family, my daughter and my wife.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And if you continue to be fat and lazy and didn't do anything, who would you be letting down if you continued to do that?
I'd be letting myself down because I probably wouldn't live as long. And, therefore, those that rely on my efforts, I'd be letting them down as well.
Exactly. Exactly. See, it's good stuff. And then it's usually all the same answer, but who would be inspired, watching your journey if you decided to, like you're doing now, get up and exercise, maybe watch your diet. Who's going to be inspired watching your journey? Everybody, not just your family, but who else might be inspired by that?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is I don't know, and somebody may be inspired that I have no idea, and so that's something that I've learned through that. So, all right, so how did you get the so you said that you were down on your luck and had a into a relationship and a couple other things. Is that what inspired you to get into coaching, or how did you get? What caused you to do this?
Yeah, being able to help. Uh, for me, as you know, I got wiped out and was in bankruptcy on food stamps and stuff in 2005. And again, that's when I kind of started looking for a way out. It sounds sad just to say, I was definitely depressed. I felt like my life was a mess. I felt like, hey, I'm better than this. I should be doing more with my life. And I was able to, a lot of times what I do, I did a lot of speaking about short sales, and I would talk to a lot of homeowners, but almost invariably when I come speak to an office about short sales, there'd be two or three agents that come and talk to me afterwards. Hey, Ben, I'm in trouble on my house. My wife's about to leave me. My husband left me. I'm dating now, but I went out with a couple of real estate agents, women who's again, if you'd probably know them if I told you who they were. They look very successful, good looking, look like they have their acts together. Behind closed doors, they're divorced. They've got miserable relationships, and things are falling apart. And being able to talk to them and go over, with some exercises, or maybe send them to, a video I saw on YouTube about, hey, here's something I was going through in my relationship. Here's something you can do each day to work on your relationship, or get your dating game back together, or get back in shape if you need. And it turned out to be fulfilling. It's nice, as you know, it's nice making good paychecks in real estate, but when you can combine getting paid with also helping people, it's what I almost got addicted to. I guess I am addicted to in short sales. It's nice. It's nice getting the paycheck, but when you help people get through that tough time in their life, whether it's a divorce, maybe somebody passed away, somebody lost their jobs, you're able to pull them through that. Again, you get paid, but there's a lot more to that. It's actually fulfilling. It's a good feeling. Probably similar to putting somebody maybe in the first home, but again, when I was able to help agents, not just with real estate transactions, but you help them. Like I'm trying to push you to do, sign up for an Ironman race or your first 5K,
Half
or
Ironman, half Ironman.
we'll get you there. It's such an accomplishment, something to look forward to. And again, what I love, it definitely helps and inspires the immediate people. But when you have the nerve, I need to get over that hump. When you have the nerve to kind of post, hey, I'm going for a run today. I don't feel like it. It's 5 a.m. My alarm's going off. It's cold. It's rainy out. And that's one of the things I've liked the last couple of weeks about running with you, that if it's cold and rainy out, I don't feel like running. But, if you have a race on the books, you get up and do it. If you have somebody that you can run with that says, hey, I don't feel like going. I don't either. Put your damn shoes on. Let's go. You're like, all right. So, you end up going. And when we can help people get to that finish line and lose the weight, or again, reconnect with a husband or a wife, because one of the tricks I have is I have the people I work with, I have them set an alarm every day to go off on their phone at some quirky time, like 12:44 or 1:23. When that alarm goes off, shoot a quick text to your spouse. Hey, honey, I love you. Hey, honey, I'm thinking of you. Simple little things like that to just kind of help you reconnect with people, let them know you're thinking about them. And there's so many simple little things that can literally change your life. I mean, it's just
Give me another couple simple things that you could think of that would transform somebody's life that's watching us right now.
Uh, my favorite one is literally the text. I have one on my I have one on my phone that I do. It goes off at 11:48, literally every day, 7 days a week. Just so by 12 o'clock noon every day, there's a certain set of things I want to have done. I want to have a workout in. So again, I've got 12 minutes. If I haven't exercised till morning, to do some push-ups, do some sit-ups. When the alarm goes off, um, uh, you back up. The reason why I love the alarm is when your alarm goes off, no matter what you're doing, you're going to stop and address it. So you could,
Okay.
again, in the middle of an email, you could be on a phone call, you could be wasting time on Facebook or video games, whatever it is, no matter what you're doing, everything stops. It's all about, it redirects your focus and your thing to, hey, I got to turn that alarm off. Why is that alarm going off? I need to text Dan. Hey, Dan, thanks for being a great business associate. Thanks for the referral. You may text your kids, your wife, a past client. It's such a simple thing. And again, it's something you can do literally every morning. Another big thing I'm a fan of is actually taking time to write down the answers to those questions. When I asked you about the fitness thing, something else I do at 11:48. I read my goals. When that thing goes off, I read my goals. Hey, if I don't make 30 phone calls today, here's the person I'm letting down. Here's the benefit I'm doing. Here's who I can inspire by coming on and saying, hey, I made 30 phone calls today. And there's so many people that can be affected by that. And what I found, having a why is nice, but the people I coach and I talk to, if you keep asking the question why, every time it comes down to a who. I want a new
Hmm.
house. Why do you want a new house? Because I think it'd be awesome. Why do you think it would be awesome? And eventually it comes down to usually, I want a safe place for my kids. I want to impress my friends. I want to, tell my high school teacher who told me I was going to be a bum that, I worked it out and here I am. So,
It looks like you and I had the same high school teacher.
yeah, it's, that's what they do. And it's funny. And again, when you think about that, and you can put your mind there in that place and actually see them, imagine letting them down. It's a game changer. Something else I do. It's the only last exercise. I know I talk too much. I have people actually write a letter, and I have them write it to your spouse. When we first start with the coaching, you write down everybody you love and everybody who's going to be affected by your success. Again, for you, your wife, your daughter, your kids, your employees, your staff. Here's who I'm going to inspire, and actually have them write a letter. Dear my daughter, dear my wife, dear my friend, whoever it is. The reason we haven't gone on that trip is because I didn't feel like getting up this morning. I didn't feel like
Ooh,
making 30 phone
that's
calls.
tough, man.
It's really powerful. And when you actually
That's
write,
tough.
yeah, if you have the nerve to actually send it to that person, it immediately switches your thinking. If you just stop and read it and say, hey, my son's name's Vinny. Dear Vinny, the reason why we haven't gone to, the Bahamas on a first class plane is because I've only made 30 phone calls a day. I haven't felt like making 40 phone calls. I get up at 6. I didn't feel like getting up at 5. It hits you. I mean, it's a lot different than just, hey, it'd be great to have a car. Hey, it'd be great to have this. But actually when you say this one thing, we actually take the time to write it and read it. It makes you think about it more, and it really ties it in deep to the middle, and it
I'm going to write my letter. I'm going to write my letter this week.
yeah.
Before I see you next, I'll write my letter. You can hold me accountable to that.
Do that. I will.
All
Next
right.
Saturday when we run.
All right. So Ben, so I know you've done some pretty intense triathlons, Ironman, that type of stuff. I'm curious. Share with us, what have you learned through your journey of doing that? Like, think about your first triathlon, and then maybe I know you've done a few. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about life? What were your lessons?
Yeah, that I think I'm actually working on a new book about that. And I'll obviously give you a copy. But yeah, for me, when I first heard of those Ironman triathlons, the big ones, for people that don't know, it's a 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and then you run a marathon back to back to back. I'd heard of
Because
those.
of course, then you would run a marathon after that.
Yeah, I was like, hey, who wants to run a
What
marathon?
else would you do?
Yeah, exactly. I just assumed I always man, a lot we could talk about. Prejudge people. I was like, hey, that's for the people who are in their 20s, 6 pack abs. They up at 5 a.m. always exercising. Never have a beer. Never pizza. No donuts. I don't. I drink once in a while. I like beer. I like beer. I like pizza. I like donuts. I like to eat. And I was like, no way, I'd ever do that. But actually, you might remember. It was on the cruise where you and I were on the short sale symposium.
Yeah,
The talks. Michelle and I forget his name, but they'd done a couple of Ironman triathlons, and they were, if there was,
Joel.
I guess, yeah, they were an older couple, and I just, again,
They weren't that old.
no,
I'm
yeah,
just clearing that up just in case.
hey, yeah, in case, but
The
again, it was,
McClintocks.
yeah, hello,
They're good people in Florida.
yeah, but again, they said they'd done a couple of them, and in talking to them, for me, suddenly it seemed possible. It was like, and they told me that you see all sizes and shapes of people, all ages, and for me, and God, we could talk all afternoon. For me, it just suddenly seemed possible. Like when you initially tell people a 2.4 mile swim, it takes about an hour and a half to do that. And the thought of me just swimming for an hour and a half, and even in a pool without touching the bottom, no way. 112-mile bike ride, it usually takes between 6 and 8 hours. I've taken a spin class or two for an hour, and I'm like, 6 of these in a row? Not happening. The longest I'd ever run was 10 miles. And same thing, the thought of running 26, let alone doing it after all that other nonsense. Again, I was
So
like,
what did you learn through that experience?
yeah,
About
it's
you?
the biggest takeaway for me, and it's one of the things I preach to everybody. There's no excuses. I know a lot of people make excuses for touchy subject. Who's in office, your skin color, where you were born, all that stuff. When you're training for this, none of that matters. It's all on you. You decide if you're going to get up and put the miles in, do the push-ups, do the sit-ups, whatever it is. Doesn't matter your skin color, who's in office, where you live. You can get your butt out of bed and get these things done. Make time if it's a priority. For me, that was one of the big takeaways. Another one I would say is literally anybody can do it. I was again, very intimidated. It was just, it seems like such a daunting task, but having, when you do it, like I told you this, it's amazing how much of it is in your head. I mean, you certainly have to train, but you see, again, all shapes and sizes out there. But yeah, I would say that the biggest takeaway was that it's all on me. There's no excuses. You're 100% responsible. Another great takeaway was something I talk to my clients about, setting monster goals. Setting something that, for me, when I first did them, I'd never run more than 10 miles. And the thought of doing all that, I was like, how the hell am I going to do that? But it gets to be something that automatically triggers your thinking. Again, you don't feel like getting up and running, but it's like, October 1, whatever it is, I've got to do all these miles. So all the excuses go right out the window. I started eventually, telling a few people, I was admittedly almost bragging, hey, here's what I'm going to do in October. And again, it was I don't want to let these people down. I want to tell them, I couldn't do it, or I didn't do it, and found it to be inspiring. And people would message me and text me, hey, I'm impressed you went for a 6 mile run or an 8 mile run, or you did 2 hours in spin class. And again, I think all that just creates an energy and a momentum. And once you get going, on that path, it's a game changer. It was for me. I think one of the big benefits about uh, setting a monster goal like that. It's not so much about crossing the finish line or achieving it, but it's who you become along the way. When you look back on your training and what you had to do, you're like, hey, I can do this. I can set a crazy goal that seems completely no way in hell I'm ever going to do that, and actually did it. And it makes, at least for me, it's made everything else in my life seem more achievable. If I want to make a certain amount of money, again, I think back to my Ironman experience. Hey, again, it doesn't matter who's in office, what's going on with the economy. There's always a way to make the money. You make the extra calls, you get up, send the extra emails, do the extra ads. There's always a way to make that happen. And again, it totally, the title of my thing, it totally changed my thinking and changed my life. It's just a matter of all the excuses are out the window and I'm good. Yeah.
So I heard you say that it was who you had to become.
Uh-huh.
And I also heard you say that it would allow for you to encounter that and conquer that,
Uh-huh.
allowed for, you use your example you said earlier about the 30 conversations a day or 30 contacts. That makes that seem
Yeah.
like, okay, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm curious, while you were training for the triathlon or for the Ironman,
Uh-huh.
while you were getting yourself ready for that physically as well as mentally, were you aware, like, were you consciously, did you have the conversation of who do I have to be able to complete this? Did you, or was that something that evolved? How was your relationship with that?
Yeah, it was. There's definitely a lot of internal conversations, and I guess something else I should have mentioned too. I've heard of this. We've all heard the cliche. You tend to be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and same thing. It couldn't have been more obvious for me. When you get out, like you and I, when we run, if you're going on a 5 or 10 mile run by yourself, it's boring. It's easy to hit the snooze bar. If I know, you and I are going out for a run or we're meeting some people, you may not feel like going, but you're going to get your butt out of bed.
I never feel like going.
Yeah, it doesn't. You just don't want to do it. And a lot of people will say that. How do you feel like doing that? And you don't. And I've seen videos. Haven't spoken with them yet. But, even the elite athletes, the Michael Jordans, the Muhammad Ali, all those guys, they didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. Michael Phelps didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. and go for swim for 5 hours. But you do it because of you have personal goals. But there's also, again, when you take it all down, it's a why. There may be a girl you want to impress, a guy you want to impress. Another big one I'm hot on. Few things in life feel better than telling somebody, pardon the language, F you, see, I told you I could do it. I had a bunch of people who told me there's no way you could ever finish that race. And, you want to do it for yourself and for the positive reasons, but there's few things that feel better than saying, hey, you didn't think I could make this money. You didn't think I could get the car, get the girl, get the house, finish this race. I did it. And yeah, call it what you will, but there's definitely a personal satisfaction there. And
There's sort of like a there's a positive reinforcement and there's a
yeah,
negative reinforcement, and both work. The negative reinforcement I found doesn't work through time,
yeah,
right? It's not sustainable.
yeah,
Yet it will get you rolling quickly. It will get you rolling quicker than the positive goal will, in most cases.
yeah, the
Would you
pain.
agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. The pain is always. I found same. The pain has always been a lot more motivating than, and
Yeah,
I think that's
for the
true for
short
anything.
term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that people don't.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I say, yeah. I mean, you talk to most people, they don't want to go to work. They don't go to work to make the money and have the house. It's more the fear of, if I don't make this mortgage payment, I lose my house. I lose
Yeah.
it's my wife. So that I think that's, like you said, I think that's a lot more motivating than then the good stuff. So.
So let me we got to finish up here. So let me ask you, Ben. So if you were, I know you've had a lot of experience and we didn't even really have the chance to really get into it, right? So maybe we'll schedule another one because I'd love to reconnect on this. But if you could go backwards, say 10 years,
Mhm.
and you're talking to Benji.
Yeah, a little guy.
You're
You
talking to
understand
you're
hair back then?
yeah, you had hair. So you're talking to Ben 10 years ago, and you were to give him some advice
Mhm.
in regards to, hey Ben, here's what I learned over the last decade.
Yeah.
Whether that's something that was a success or an obstacle, what would you share with that Ben?
Uh, I would be more disciplined. I would tell myself to be more disciplined in the. Man, we really could talk for hours. Uh, One of the best things, same thing when I'm first talking to coaching clients, ask them when do you get up? What time do you wake up? Most of them at 6 or 7 o'clock. Most people hear people getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock. Well, it's absolutely possible if you go to bed, at a reasonable hour. So I would
Sure.
definitely tell my younger self, hey, get up at 5 o'clock. And I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of real estate agents. They work till 10, 11, 12 at night. Why do you stay up so late? Because the phones aren't ringing, as quiet as peaceful and get things done. Nobody's probably calling you at 5 a.m. And the good thing, we and I have discussed this, when you get stuff done in the morning, whether it's a run, you put a couple ads up, if you send a couple of texts or something to some clients, so they see them when they wake up, it starts your whole day off right. And that
Yep.
positive energy, that sense of accomplishment, that swagger, if you will, it carries through the entire day. So, if I get up at 5 and you're getting up at 7 o'clock, if at 8 o'clock we're both doing our thing, but I've gotten in a good workout, I sent a couple of texts to some clients saying thank you. Again, no matter what happens, you and I could both have crap days, but when I go to bed that night, I know I got some things done. Where the rest of the day even may be chaos. So for me, that's probably the big thing I would say is, no excuses. Don't worry about if you're divorced or don't have the money right now or don't feel like doing it right now. Same thing as when I made a last quick exercise. I do something similar like that with clients, and I have them have a conversation with their 10-year-old self. Hey
With
Dan,
their what?
with
Say again.
their 10-year-old selves. If you
Oh,
go
with the
back,
10-year-old self. Okay.
talk to Dan Rashawn. You and him are sitting on a bench.
That was Danny.
There was little Danny. uh, and say, hey, would Dan Rashawn, would your 10-year-old self be proud of the person you've become in your
Mm,
relationship as a father? Financially, did you always want to own a pizza business and now you're sitting in a cubicle all day? Did you always want to get into real estate, or is it just something you did because the money's good and you like helping people?
yeah.
But that conversation, first you do it looking back, and then I do the same thing looking forward. Okay, now imagine it's 10, 20, 30 years from now, and you're looking back on your life. Are you going to be glad you stayed in real estate, or you're glad you kept, selling cars or being a dick husband or, lousy wife or whatever it is? But again, all those things are designed to, change how people think. And I think you hear that there's so many things out there about literally it's just a matter of controlling your thoughts. I think that's the problem. Most people, we do the same thing day in, day out. The only time you think about your goals is on New Year's. And literally, if you can just have that slap in the face, have the alarm go off on your phone once in a while, just say, hey, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? Who am I going to let down if I keep, on this path? It's been a game changer for me and for the people I help. So,
Awesome. Thank you. How can I get in touch with you?
you can email me. My direct one, personal one is bbenita, BBENITA, bbenita123 at Gmail. And I'll give my cell phone number at 703-926-1533. Yeah, call me if I can help.
Vince, say both of those one more time, a little bit slower, please.
You got it.
Yep.
Email is bbenita123, BBENITA123 at gmail.com. My cell number, you can call or text me anytime, is 703-926-1533.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. It's good stuff. I'll see you Saturday.
All right.
Thanks.